Let's get educated. That's why we're here, to bring you the stories impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses. It's time for a little education.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Educated. I am Katie Petrick, joined as always by David Fiorazzo, and that very, very busy man sitting right there across from me.
Yes.
Has been busy.
Yes.
Because he's a busy man. And so on Worldview Matters,
Yep.
he's talking to the people, and they're talking back. Who are we talking to today?
Great show today. Linda Harvey, Mission America. We went down this school year calendar. She calls the school corruption and propaganda calendar. And you're talking about things like today, I think, by the way, is Coming Out Day. Then there's Spirit Day. Then there's International Pronouns Day. There's Solidarity Week. There's Transgender Awareness Week, and goes on and on and on. It never stops. And they do this in the public schools. They make kids that don't feel comfortable, like Christian kids. You know, they'll make you feel like, I guess I better go along with this. They'll guilt you into it. But Linda Harvey, Mission America, today on Worldview Matters. You can subscribe. Don't miss an episode. worldviewmatters.tv.
Awesome. Now, just a quick reminder that you can catch Educated on the go by subscribing to the podcast on your favorite platform. Now, we're going to start off today in our own home state, because why wouldn't we? We have a middle school math teacher who has sparked a bit of a controversy after giving the Nazi salute to her class and then asked them to say basically Heil Hitler, but like Heil to the teacher's name. Why, David? Why is this happening?
Was this Wisconsin again?
Yes.
Okay, so
yes.
Middle school.
Yes.
Allegedly, I guess we have to use that word, made an anti-Semitic gesture and remark during her class, but she claims she did not intend to cause harm.
Okay.
A parent newsletter was released called the Elmbrook Community Need to Know, and that was in late September, which described an incident that reportedly took place in 8th grade math class, in the teacher's class. So, female math teacher, this is Wisconsin Hills Middle School, and apparently gave the Nazi salute to her class and then went to tell the students to respond with either Heil Hitler or Heil the teacher's name. So they found out about this after the case there. Katie, you want to read that?
Yeah, so we have Matt Schroeder, who's the principal, and had to send out a message to the whole campus. And it says, Wisconsin Hills families, I want to share some information with all of the families about an incident that occurred late last week in one of our classrooms, which continues to garner media attention. A similar message was initially communicated to the students, blah, 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 blah. Regrettably, one of our teachers made an anti-Semitic gesture and remark during class that is highly offensive to both Jewish and non-Jewish individuals, something we would not tolerate from any student or staff member at Wisconsin Hills. Following a complete investigation, it was our determination that the teacher did not intend to cause harm, yet it was a clear violation of our staff professional responsibilities. Over the past week, disciplinary action and corrective measures have been implemented, including anti-Semitism education. So,
anti-Semitism education. Wonder what that's all about.
Usually it's the other kinds of education that need to be given about diversity and all that other stuff. So this is a different one, slightly. It's kind of interesting that they're saying this is actually, they don't think, an isolated event, according to like the chatters out there. Right? So there was an anonymous parent of Elmbrook Schools who was not convinced that of what this female teacher did. Allegedly noting...
There's a pattern.
The allegedly, this is part of a pattern of inappropriate behavior in staff at Elmbrook in the last few years. Now, the parent reportedly cited a sex survey provided to students, an inappropriate link in an email signature, and explicit books brought into the school that did not adhere to policy guidelines. Now,
well, what's wrong with that? I mean, schools are doing that across the country. So why? Oh, a policy guidelines. It's something. Okay.
Sure.
But Katie, I've got to flash back to Wisconsin, a high school.
Another thing.
When students appeared to make the Nazi salute in a prom photo. I think there's a little video here we have.
It spread outrage over this photo of mostly white male high school students in Baraboo, Wisconsin, giving what appears to be a Nazi salute. Another student making a hand gesture associated with white nationalism. The school district and police launching an investigation hours after the image went viral. The Baraboo superintendent telling parents, "We are extremely troubled by the image," adding, "Hate has no home in the Baraboo school district." Jordan Blue was one of the few in the photo who did not raise his arm.
I was not aware that this was going to be happening, and if I knew it was happening, I would have not been in that photo at that time, because I don't believe that is right.
Good for him.
Yes.
Good for him.
But then they found out that photo they weren't actually doing what they thought they were doing.
Well, what were they doing, Katie?
They were saying, hey, they were told by photographer, like, hey, raise your hand up. And
they raise your hand?
Like,
and
raise your hand up, like, hey.
They didn't put it straight up?
We actually don't, I mean, ultimately, do we know, other than what is in the minds of those young men, like, what they were doing?
No.
That's where we're at. But this apparently is a Wisconsin thing, an issue that we have going on here.
Apparently, we've got some issues.
But I'm still back to the fact that why would any teacher, not just a math teacher, be like, well, clearly I should tell these kids to say Heil Hitler or Heil my name. Why? Is that person like, it's math class. Like, there's no context. If you were teaching history and you were actually teaching about like World War II and the Holocaust, and you said back then they used to say Heil Hitler, and then you showed them what the gesture was, that's still not good, but it's different than being in math class and saying, I'm the teacher, you call me Heil my name.
Yeah, that was odd. The teacher did it. That was odd.
And then to defend yourself with, I didn't mean to cause harm. Well, like, what were you doing then?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I mean, one more thing about Wisconsin. We have some insider friends in different school systems in different states, Minnesota and other places, Michigan. But a friend of mine from the Green Bay area schools sent me a text this morning that this went out to the teachers in the teacher newsletter. And it says the Green Bay area schools have partnered to form an employee LGBTQIA plus group called UP, which stands for Unapologetic Pride. And this is going out in the teacher's newsletter, and there's going to be something coming up at St. Norbert's College. And, they're meeting there, and it's all about pride. But this is in the Green Bay High School. So it's in your neck of the woods, friends. That's the point I'm trying to make. These inappropriate things, whether it's anti-Semitism, whether it's the LGBTQ, whether it's, tolerance, whatever it is, this crazy behavior, the drag stuff. It's not just the small towns anymore. And the teachers are proud to do this. They're proud to be behind some of this stuff.
Yep, that is true.
Okay. And yet another attempt to garner favor with voters. Joe Biden cancels $9 billion in student loan debt for people in public service or with low incomes. We're talking about that next.
Well, David, just know that Joey has been out there appeasing the children. And it's not with the ice cream, but with the dollars. Because President Joe Biden has canceled another $9 billion in student loan debt, giving relief to about 125,000 borrowers. This move came as the borrowers were preparing for payments to restart after a 3-year pause that began during the COVID-19 pandemic.
What was that pause? What does that mean? There was a
for
3-year
3
pause.
years, they have not had to pay their student loans and acquire all the interest and all of that goes with those loans. And now, oh no, you're finally going to have to start paying them again. So instead of doing that, we're just going to take that $9 billion off the table.
We've got a video, Katie, but before we get to that, I'm sure the Senate and the Congress, they voted on this, right? And the people had a say in what Biden's doing with those $9 billion. I'm sure people are all behind this, right? No, they're not. But we'll come back and we'll talk about it. Watch.
The White House says this latest wave of forgiveness impacts a few different groups, including borrowers under the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program and those with a total or permanent disability. This also follows fixes to income-driven repayment. Officials say tens of thousands of borrowers made at least 20 years of payments on their student loans, but never got the relief they were entitled to.
This kind of relief is life-changing for individuals and their families. But it's good for our economy as a whole as well. By freeing millions of Americans from the crushing burden of student debt, it means they can go and get their lives in order.
Could you understand that?
And then we go and...
Boy.
I'm gonna... Where am I at?
Leader of the free world, ladies and gentlemen. But anyway,
Okay,
so
but anyway,
we know he's the puppet. The Democrats that are in charge of Joe Biden and the administration, they decided to give away all this free money or just cancel the debt using taxpayer money. It's not fun. It's not fun to think about because we don't have a say. That's one of the most infuriating things about this, isn't it?
It's like I'm past the point of infuriated because you can't sustain that. I'm just at the point of like, all right, this is what our lives have become. But that apathy is what gets us to this point as well.
Elections have consequences, and I think a lot of people have given up on voting, whether you think there's fraud in every election, there's cheating and corruption, but to give up the only ways you can have a say, your voice, to vote at the ballot box or on election day, that's not the answer, friends. That's how we get puppets like this in office that are being used to basically take us to socialism, which is one step closer to communism. And I'm not saying that lightly. That's the way we're headed with this kind of garbage. Let's just cancel the debt. Taxpayers will cover it. Yeah, well, and they don't even, they'd be more honest if they said that taxpayers will cover it, because they just leave it out as if there are like no consequences. Exactly.
Let's listen to the rest, or I'll say it the best I can. The rest of what Biden said. He said, Americans who are saddled with unsustainable debt in exchange for a college degree has become the norm. This kind of relief is life-changing for individuals and their families. You mean the ones that you want to murder and not have anyone have? Those families? Yes. But it's good for our economy as a whole as well. By freeing millions of Americans because they're enslaved, that they willingly took into that debt.
Let's
continue and then we'll... So by freeing millions of Americans from the crushing burden of student debt, it means they can go and get their lives in order. And this is where it all picked up. They can think about buying a house. They can start a business. They can be starting a family. This matters. This matters to their daily lives. The end there, David.
You
want to go?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
They can think about buying a house because all the interest rates that you have skyrocketed due to all the spending that you are doing in our economy. Is that what they can start a business that the government will likely shut down for whatever reason they want. Maybe another pandemic will happen and then the government will say, sorry, you can't start that business. No. They can be starting a family. Oh, you mean as you encourage mothers out there to abort their babies because, you got to work hard for your money. So hard for it, honey. Yes, and this matters. This does matter to their daily lives. So stop messing it up, federal government.
So it doesn't matter to the blue-collar workers and the hard-working men and women who are really busting their butts in a full-time job, and they've raised credit card debt, and so you're going to help the college kids. Why? Oh, because they're believing in socialism anyway. They'll vote Democrat. Let's just say it. Let's just say that's one of the reasons. Is that too far off? So why? They don't believe in equality. Otherwise, they would be everybody that has a certain amount of credit card debt, whether it's a student loan or any kind of loan, they would help everybody across the board. But no, they don't believe in equality. They're showing favoritism. We've got to start calling this out, friends, and saying what it is.
Exactly. Well, we have many words we could say on the topic, but we must continue on our little journey through today's show. And up next, we have Syracuse University, which has banned a church from holding services on campus. And I know David has a few words about this one. So it was discovered that they were promoting biblical teachings. And of course, get them out of here then. We are going to tell you why the school is so upset after the break.
Today's show is sponsored by our friends at MyPillow. Save up to 66% on pristine quality bedding, towels, slippers, signature pillows, and much more when you use the code EDUCATED. That's EDUCATED. Educated. Support this show and a great American company.
All right, David, are you stretched out? Are you ready? Are you fired up?
I'm ready to unload. These stories are tedious to me and infuriating.
Infuriating. Word of the day. So here we go. Syracuse University has barred a church from holding its services on the university-owned property campus, citing alleged violations of the university's standards of inclusion.
But they must be excluding them to...
He's fired up. Get ready. Radiant Church has, they were holding Sunday services in the ballroom of the nearby Drumlins Country Club, which Syracuse owns. And this has been happening since summertime, since July, all right? Well, the university had a decision. It came in response to allegations of homophobia against the pastor of the church for comments that he made in a recent interview. So the pastor said something, and then someone got wind of it and then went to Syracuse and was like, kick them off.
Did the pastor have the audacity to quote the Bible when it comes to sexuality and morality, when it comes to the biblical teachings on
yes,
that?
we will get to it. Yeah,
okay.
We will definitely get there. Now, the Syracuse officials claim that we have notified the Radiant Church that they are not allowed to host their services on Syracuse University property. We are taking the necessary action to ensure groups requesting use of our property are properly vetted prior to being given permission. A lot of P words in here. To gather on our campus and at our facilities. Now, Radiant Church, what we know about them is that they hold to basic Christian belief that homosexual activity is a sin.
Okay, so they are actually a church then, not like one of the drag welcoming churches that hangs the rainbow flag outside a building. A building is not a church, friends, but anyway, this is a true church from their stance on what the Bible teaches. Go ahead.
Yes, that is what we've gathered so far. And so what happened was there was an interview that was done with Syracuse.com by Radiant Church's pastor, Jason Langford. And it stated that Radiant, the church, excludes people from membership if they do not believe in this Christian tenet of homosexuality as sin. And so Langford said, if you go, no, I don't believe it's a sin, would that keep you from membership at Radiant? Yes, but so would many other things. So this is, I'm guessing, a targeted interview question that they were trying to get him to be on record stating this. Yeah. So in the statement from Syracuse, they implied that this articulation of the Christian morality was tantamount to bigotry. This is bigotry right there, what that pastor said. So here's what the statement said. Okay. Syracuse University condemns bigotry of all forms. So you can see how they're twisting that. All right. The university is home to 27 religious and spiritual life groups and prides itself on offering diverse opportunities that align with our deeply held values of respect and inclusion, David. Okay. Unleash.
Let's talk about inclusion. If they say that they're abiding by the Bible and the church is going... See, they're ripping this out of context. Anybody is welcome to come in the door of a church, but you are not welcome to continue your sinning ways, your lifestyle, your immoral behavior and perversion, whether that be adultery, whether that be pornography, whether that be gambling, whether that be drug addiction, whether that be homosexuality. You can go on down the list. Anybody and everybody, the prostitute, you are welcome to come to church. There are some churches that have allowed drag queens to come in thinking, well, maybe they really want to hear the truth. They allowed them in church, but when it came to them wanting to use, like a man wanting to use the women's bathroom, the church drew the line. Let's clarify. Churches are very welcoming when it comes to who needs to come in and hear the gospel of Jesus Christ. What they are offended by, Katie, is the exclusivity of the gospel. They say, they have allowed 27 other religious and spiritual groups. That's fine, free country. But if you're talking about salvation for all eternity, John 14:6 says, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, and no one comes to the Father except through him. You've got to live with that, friends. That's the truth. So that is exclusive. But God invites anyone who sins to come in the door. Come to him. Repent. Confess your sins. It doesn't matter what sin it is. I could go on, but I know we're running out of time.
Yes, you could. Amen. But you missed the little fact about how Syracuse prides itself.
Oh, they pride themselves on what?
On their inclusion and diversity and
equity and inclusion.
And all of that jazz.
Sure.
So anyway, we are going to turn from this topic to our latest Babylon Bee headlines, which we have coming up next. So stay right there.
If you have a smartphone, tablet, Roku, or Apple TV, consider downloading the Freedom Project Media app. It's 100% free and includes all of our weekly shows, plus lecture series, archive programs, and award-winning animated videos for families like the Presidential Minute, Battles of America, and Heroes of the West. Don't rely on the social media giants to keep you informed. Simply download the Freedom Project Media app from your app store and allow notifications. And we'll let you know when a new video is ready.
Okay, I had a moment to just kind of take it easy here for a moment. And let's get back to the show now. I'm still upset at that last story, can you tell? But before we wrap it up, let's lighten the load a little bit. Let's take a look at everyone's favorite satire site, the Babylon Bee.
Here are this week's top 5 Babylon Bee headlines.
Okay. Katie has not seen these, as always, but we picked our favorite headlines. Now we're going to find out which one should be numero uno, Queen of the Hive. Let's start with this one. Democrats propose $12 billion study to determine what this strange red handle thingy does. The fire alarm? I like that. Anyway, next. Representative Bowman pulls fire alarm again while trying to flush urinal. Next. Buffalo guy kicking himself for not just pulling the fire alarm to evacuate Congress. Next. Senator Feinstein, death not expected to affect re-election campaign. And finally, Gavin Newsom throws dart at board covered in black lesbians to select the next senator. Oh my goodness, Katie! There were 3 LOLs on that one. They're walking the tightrope, aren't they? On some of these.
That is pointed this week, Babylon Bee.
There's 3 of them.
Kudos to you.
There could be a 3 or 4-way tie here.
It's kind of like too soon? Too soon? Ooh, too soon? Because of too soon, Dianne Feinstein. Too soon? The sad truth is that that's the truth. It probably would not affect her re-election campaign. Senator Feinstein passed away at 90 years old.
Yeah.
Because she's been a senator for 30 years and was literally wheeled in and didn't know what was going on. It was just a sad, sad state of affairs. But they kept her going, and it's kind of like they could have weekend at Bernie'd her.
I was just thinking
weekend at Bernie'd her.
Bernie's instead of Bernie's.
Weekend Bernie's, so it's weekend at Diane's. Weekend at Bernie.
Okay.
It won't affect her campaign.
There were some good ones this week.
What do you got?
Oh my! Well, I don't. I think it should almost be a 5-way tie.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, Newsom throwing the dartboard to pick the, a dartboard covered in black lesbians, because these are the qualifications. Those are the only qualifications to be senator in California. A black lesbian.
Pretty much.
All right, but you know what? I've got to go with the fire alarm. We've got it because that was such a big story, and has he been held accountable?
No,
no, of course not.
No, not truly.
So
it's okay. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
The flushing the urinal. That's funny. Oh gosh, there were several LOLs on this one.
They were feisty. And I appreciate that.
Yeah, free speech.
Babylon.
Go the bee. Go bee.
Bee.
All right,
bee,
guys.
go.
Yeah, that's gonna wrap up our top headlines of the week. More satire next time.
All right. Now, if you are a fan of our show, if you could, if you please, do your thing. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We'd appreciate it very much so around here.
And if you rumble.
And if you're, if you rumble. If you're on Rumble.
Either way,
get on the platform that is known as Rumble. You can follow our new channel at rumble.com/FreedomProject. Freedom Project. Now, for David and myself, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and thank you for supporting this show. Until next time, stay educated.